So when we talk of chemical bonding, we are talking about the combination of two elements to form a single compound. Now bonding can be between metals and non-metals. Bonding can also occur in metals. So the first type of bonding that we are going to look at is ionic bonding. And you know that ionic bonding is a bonding between metals and non-metals. So the bonding between metals and non-metals. So this involves metals losing electrons to non-metals. So we are saying metals, they lose electrons. Non-metals, they gain electrons. Let's see how compounds are formed from metals and non-metals. So for example, I know that sodium is a metal and chlorine is also a metal. And since sodium is found in group 1 of the periodic table and chlorine is found in group 7 of the periodic table, this means sodium has a valence of 1 and chlorine has a valence of 7. That means chlorine needs 1 electron to be added up to 7 to form 8 standard number of electrons an element is supposed to have for it to attain stability. So this involves the movement of this 1 electron from sodium to go and join that 7 electrons in the outer shell of chlorine so that they balance. Let's see how this is done. So sodium has got a positive 1 there, and chlorine, being a non-metal, it has got negative 1 there. So when you cross multiply, this ion comes down here and this ion comes down there. So since the ratio is 1 to 1, sodium becomes that and chlorine becomes that to form a single compound. Let's look at sodium and oxygen. We know that oxygen is found in group 6. So it has got 6 electrons in the outer shell and it needs 2 extra electrons to give us 8 electrons. Sodium, we know that it's found in group 1, becomes like that, and the oxygen is going to have a negative 2 like that since it needs 2 electrons. So when you cross multiply, the 2 goes down there on sodium, so we have this 2. So that's how it's done when it comes to ionic compounds. Let's look at covalent compounds. Covalent compounds, or covalent bonding in short. So covalent bonding is a bonding between non-metals and non-metals. So it's a bonding that occurs between non-metals and non-metals. For example, the bonding between hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is non-metal, oxygen is also a non-metal. So the bond that is between these two is a covalent bond. And the type of bonding that exists is a covalent bonding. Let's look at an example. For example, we say hydrogen has got 1 electron in the outer shell. As a result, it can only lose 1 electron. So hydrogen in this case, it can act as a metal, also as a non-metal. That's why it can either be in group 1 or in group 7. Then oxygen, we know that oxygen has got a valence of 2 there, and there's positive 1. So when you cross multiply, it's going to be H2O. That's where we get the formula for water. What if we have carbon and oxygen? We know that carbon has got 4 electrons in the outer shell and oxygen has got 2 electrons in the outer shell. So when they cross multiply, we are going to have 2 here then we're going to have 4 here. But we can reduce this. 2 can go into 2, that is 1. Then 2 can also go into 4, that is 2 times. That's how we come up with carbon dioxide. Let's look at the last type of bonding, that is metallic bonding. This type of bonding occurs in metals, and this is due to electrostatic forces of attraction that hold the electrons together. That's why even a metal is able to conduct electricity, because there are electrons that are able to flow there and that are able to carry charge from one point to the other. So diagrammatically, the bonding in a metal can be shown by this. So this can be positive atoms. Then here where there are spaces, there we have electrons. So we have electrons there that carry charge or electric current actually from one point to the other. That's why a metal is able to conduct electricity.